Booktube, welcome back to my channel. We're in the middle of a readathon. The hashtag 7 in 7 readathon is going on this week and I'm participating. I'm not quite at the point where I thought my reading was going to be this week. I haven't read all the books that I would have liked to have completed at this point, but you're gonna have to come back on Monday for my vlog to see whether I was successful in reading 7 things in 7 days. But for now, I'm gonna share the books that I acquired so far in the month of July. There's still a little bit of month left, enough time for me to get more books, but we're gonna say that this right now is my July haul because I think I could keep myself away from the bookstore for a few days. But here are the books that I bought so far in July and the reason that I got them. Last year, I bought Azar Nafisi's Reading Lolita in Tehran. This is her memoir about teaching students, I think, who had read the book by Vladimir Nabokov called Lolita. But I didn't read Lolita. So I've had this on my shelf and didn't pick it up yet. A few years ago, I bought Mrs. Vladimir Nabokov memoir by Stacy Schiff. And look at the size of this book. I also haven't read this one. I'm not sure why I got it, but I have it. Maybe because my grandmother's name is Vera and I wanted a book with her name. No, that's not a reason. I don't know why I bought this book, but I've had these 2 books just waiting for a copy of Lolita. And I went to the thrift store and I saw the 50th anniversary edition of Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. And so I had to pick it up. I mean, come on, I had to pick it up. Now I can read this and read this and maybe even read this. This is a giant one, so we'll see. But this is the first book that I bought this month and you can totally see why, right? I've been reading this trilogy by Marilynne Robinson. I read Home, I still have to read Lila, and I read the first in the series, which is Gilead, which is the one that she won the Pulitzer Prize for. I no longer have that book. These copies are from the library, which means that at some point I have to give them back. The first one, called Gilead, I already had to return, and I was a little bummed about that because I want to do a review when I've read the third in the series, and I want to be able to share all the books with you. And so when I went to the bookstore and I saw Gilead on sale, I had to pick it up, of course. So now I own this copy. Yes, it is the paperback copy, but it still says on the front, this is the beautiful gold embossing which says winner of the Pulitzer Prize. And of course, you know, I love prize-winning books. I'm gonna create a section of my bookshelf that is just dedicated to books that have won the Pulitzer Prize. I haven't read a lot of them, but I'd like to read more and collect more of them. So this is the first in that collection. Maybe when I see these on sale, I'll also pick them up. Although these didn't win the Pulitzer, but this did. So you understand why I bought this one, of course, right? Lillian Neiswender, I think is how you pronounce her name. She's one of my most faithful subscribers on my channel. She watches and comments on all my videos. So if there are more like you out there who are watching all my videos, please go ahead and comment down below so I can know and others can know that you're also faithful subscribers. But Lillian recommended that I read this book, The Elegance of the Hedgehog by Muriel Barberry. I requested it from the library. It came in and the time ran out. I had to return it. I tried it again. Same thing happened because, you know, I've been reading a lot of other books and just didn't get a chance to get to it yet. So when I saw this one in the thrift store, of course, I picked it up. It was not quite on sale, but I think it's worth it. This is a Europa edition, which you might or might not remember that the Europa Editions is the publishing house that produces the Elena Ferrante Neapolitan novels. And since I read Elena Ferrante, I've been kind of excited to pick up other books by these Europa publishers. I love their print. They have these beautiful French flaps. Most of the books are translated. They present translated works. And I've been wanting to get more of the books that they've produced. And so this is the next in that collection, I suppose, that I want to dive into, and it comes highly recommended by Lillian. So of course I'll tell you about it once I've read it. That's why we're here, right? You know, I've been reading the Man Booker prize-winning books, and recently they had their Golden Booker anniversary in which they celebrated the books that have won the prize over the 50-year history, and through a system of choosing finalists, which was as controversial a system as any book prize that I've ever seen. But they narrowed it down, and The English Patient by Michael Ondaatje won the Golden Booker, and I saw this in the thrift store. Of course, it doesn't have on it yet that is the Golden Booker winner, but it does have winner of the Booker Prize. And you know, I've been reading and trying to collect more of the Man Booker Prize winning books. So I'm happy that I found this one, and it's in a pretty good condition. It is paperback. I much prefer to own hardcovers, even though all the books that I've shown you thus far have been paperback. But to start a book collection, I really like to have hardcovers, but I'll take the paperbacks when I don't have a choice. And I kind of like this cover. I like the haunting black and white kind of grainy feel on the front, which totally echoes in the story. And now I have my own copy, so that's great. And I could always replace it with a hardcover when they've printed that new celebratory 50th anniversary win with the embossed sticker. I'm looking forward to owning that. Sometime last year, I read The Buddha in the Attic by Julie Otsuka, and now I saw her other novel, which I don't know how many novels she has, but this is another of her novels, which is called When the Emperor Was Divine. And this is a tiny book that I think I can dive into later this weekend. It's only 144 pages, and I think this is the kind of book where if you're looking to score 7 things in 7 days, this is the kind of book that you want to read. So looking forward to diving into this because I really enjoyed The Buddha in the Attic, which was about these Japanese immigrants and the experiences that they had when they moved to the United States around the time when there was all this prejudice. Not that that's much different from now, but a lot of that prejudice around the time of World War II, when people who had come here as legal immigrants, legal workers, innocent Japanese immigrants were being rounded up and put into concentration camps, taken away from their homes on the charge of espionage and treason. And I don't know if this book follows that same time period. Author is of Japanese descent, and I think most of her writing is about the theme of Japanese or Asians in general trying to assimilate when they've moved to a new country. So looking forward to getting into this because I like books that have to deal with immigration, not just, you know, people immigrating from the part of the world where I'm from, but people moving from one place to the other and the experiences that they have as they have to leave behind the things that they loved and try to find a new life with all the unpredictability that usually brings with it. Other books that I bought, I feel like I bought another book. So I told you about the Elegance of the Hedgehog. This is another Europa edition that I bought, and I've shown it to you before because I included this in my TBR for the BookTube-a-thon. And this is In the Orchard, The Swallows by Peter Hobbs. And this again, these Europa editions, they're small, they're beautiful, beautifully printed, beautifully bound. They have these nice French flaps, which I just like. If I'm gonna buy a paperback, I want a paperback with French flaps. And I'll take deckled edges too. But this one is about a wedding in Pakistan, and most of these books seem to have been translated, but this one, not so much. So I thought Europa editions only published translated works, but I guess not, since this author is English. He's from England with a name like Peter Hobbs, I guess so, right? But the story is set in Pakistan, so I guess it's the international feel, even without the international language, which is fine. I don't just read translated works, right? But we'll see about this one, which I'm planning to read pretty soon. So now this one has me thinking about the Europa edition. So I picked up The Elegance of the Hedgehog again, and I'm seeing that Muriel Barberry is probably not English. Elegance of the Hedgehog is her second novel. Her first book has a foreign title, Un Gourmandise. I'm not sure where that is from. So I don't know where Muriel Barberry is from, and I'm not going to do too much searching about this. I want to go into this book without knowing too much about it, so I'm not even going to research the author. And I think that's it for books that I bought recently. I also picked up 2 books from the library. The first is Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. I met the author a few months ago and thought about buying the book, but didn't because I'm just not sure if I'm going to connect with this book, if it's something that I'm going to want to own. Sean the Book Maniac has raved about this book, so it does come highly recommended. But some things about this story are a little weird for me. The author did explain in her book talk that a lot of her writing is autobiographical, and she novelized it because, you know, she didn't want to tell her story at some point in her life. But now she's pretty comfortable with the fact that the book is about her, and about her experience being born and reborn in different forms, as the spirit doesn't want to connect, doesn't want to live in this world, doesn't want to be hampered by the trappings of this world. And so there's a lot about that is intriguing, but there's also a lot about it that's off-putting. So I wanted to try it out from the library before I bought a copy, so I got it. I'm gonna try to read it. It's pretty short. It's a little over 200 pages, and it's a pretty small book in size, so this should be a quick read as well. And finally is How to Love a Jamaica by Alexia Arthurs. I got a NetGalley version of this book months ago, and I started reading the stories. They are short stories that surround Jamaicans, I think Jamaican immigrants. And I didn't love the NetGalley version that I was reading, and I put it aside because quite a few of the books that I've read recently that have been written by Jamaicans or other West Indians, I haven't connected with. And I want to love this book. I want to love this book so bad that I wanted to wait until I got my hands on a print copy, the finished copy, as opposed to just the manuscript that was submitted to NetGalley. Because there was just so much in that book that I could see, if it was refined, it had the potential to be a good book. And I wanted to read that good book when it was finished. So I put off my NetGalley review, and now I'm going to read the finished copy from the library. And if I like it, even if I just barely like it, I will buy it to support the author, Alexia Arthurs, because I like to support authors, especially I like to support my own people. I'm Jamaican, she's Jamaican. Why wouldn't I support her? But I want to know that I'm going to love the book first. So I'm going to try it out from the library. So I have these 2 from the library and these 6 that I picked up from the thrift store. And so that's a pretty small haul, just 8 books. But, you know, there's still a little bit of month left to go. So that's it. Let me know in the comments what books you picked up in July. What's the book that you're most excited to own? So of these books that I bought, the book that I'm most excited to own, I think, is The Elegance of the Hedgehog. Mainly because it's just so pretty. I love this cover. But also because I'm really looking forward to reading the story. Of the library books, I'm most excited to read this because I want to love it. And I think I'm going to read it today or tomorrow or Sunday. I'm going to read it this weekend because I want to love this book. I want to love this book so bad. So thanks for watching this video. We'll talk in the comments, and until next time, happy reading.